Hello. Yet another random, spontaneous video. Just in the office on a Monday morning and having a coffee. Thought I'd click record. And yeah, just see what happens again. See what comes out. So although in the story, or relatively, it's a Monday morning, that is also an imagination. So there's only this. There's nothing happening anywhere else. So if you have watched the previous videos, you'll know what I'm referring to when I say there's only this. But if you are new to these videos, then well, the topic seems to be labelled as non-duality. I mean, here I don't particularly like that term. It's just a word. I mean, all I'm referring to is this existence. This presence. So there's a being that's always here. There's something here. And it's got nothing to do with you. It hasn't come from anywhere. It's not going anywhere. There's nothing behind it or in front of it. There's only this. People call it awareness, consciousness. This space. It's probably not a good word for it, that. I mean, there's been glimpses here or awakenings in the past, and it's been seen clearly that there's no time or space. And that there is only this. But it seems, in the story and relatively, that a separate self or a me character, a lot of people feel as though it's inside their body, that there's a you that's inside your body, making choices, moving around a world. And what's being shared here is that that is only your imagination. It's an imagined story. Now here, I don't see that as anything radical anymore. It's totally obvious and ordinary. It's always been this way. There's never been a self. You've never done anything. So things have happened, apparently. But if there's no self, there's no doer. There's no seer. There's a seeing. So, I mean, obviously there's tons of non-duality speakers, and it can be a difficult thing to talk about, but at the same time it can be quite easy, because nobody knows what this is. So the sharing here is, I mean, all I'm talking about is this existence, this unknown awareness that seems to be here for no reason. It's not been caused by anything, it just is. And then there's a sharing here of, well, we're just talking about an imagined self, and the realization that it's an illusion. It's an imagined character. It isn't there. And also there's no others. So any other bodies, there's no imagined me inside them either. Now, if you're listening to this message and you think that's ridiculous, and you think it's nihilistic or doom and gloom, then that's just what's happening there. The message here is that, yeah, it can be seen as a terrifying message to you, because ultimately the message is, well, it's the annihilation of you. It's a recognition that you aren't, and that you've never been. But the sharing here is also the pure freedom, the relief, the liberation. I don't want to say the end of suffering, because suffering can happen. You know, these human bodies experience pain, uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. But the message here is that it's got nothing to do with you. So pain arises, thoughts arise, and feelings arise on their own. And it's this being that does it all. It's not you. And I know that can be hard to understand or grasp, because if you really do feel like a separate person, then you claim everything that happens, that you did it or it's happening to you. It's all me, me, me. It's all about you. And the message here is that you aren't. And it's happened here, it's been seen through. And for whatever reason, it can happen in bodies where that imagined self character can exhaust itself. And I don't know why it's happened here. I mean, I can guess, I can tell you a story of suffering and striving, always wanting to be better, wanting my life to improve, and just living in a mental whirlwind of, I mean, here it's more anxiety, always thinking that I could improve this or make this a better way through control, through taking on responsibility. And if the me character can collapse or dissolve, it is a joke, because it's seen instantly that it was never there. And here, the relief was overwhelming. So the reason I say the relief here was overwhelming is because the psychological suffering that can happen if you are completely identified with that me character can be unbearable. And when it's seen clearly, none of it's got anything to do with you. And then all the stories collapse. I mean, the thoughts of the story can still arise, and feelings around that can still arise, but they're not yours. So this is as it is. This cannot be any other way. Only you, that imagined me character, thinks that it could be. But if you look around in your direct experience right now, this is everything. There's nothing else happening outside of this. And it's always been that way. It'll always be that way. This is timeless, eternal. I mean, I don't know what this is. It's a magical masterpiece. It does everything. So it doesn't matter what's going on. And I know that might trigger you. But it really doesn't matter what's going on. And whatever's going on is okay. Because whatever's going on is everything. So when this message has been seen clearly, it's like all hierarchy, authority dissolves, collapses. Because there's no one here. There's no me character, there's no them, there's no others, there's no you. There's no one running the show. And then there's a massive compassion and love, gratitude, non-judgmental attitudes. It's like the great leveler. There's no one better than anyone else. That's all imagined. So if you're watching this and there's a story there of struggle, or if you're watching this and there's a story there of affluency, then that's just what's happening. It's got nothing to do with you. Your ego can claim all of that. But in your direct experience, you've got nothing. You've never had anything. There's just this. You just claim everything. So anything that you've done in your apparent past, whether you think it's good or bad, you've just labelled it and claimed it through your thoughts. So there's nothing wrong with you because you aren't. There's no doer. It's just, this is just as it is. It's whatever's happening. And I've had so many comments, and I understand it. The me character can't understand this message. If you completely identify with the self, it's almost, you're just not going to believe the message because you're so identified. You really feel like energetically that you are doing everything. And there's, comments coming in about evil government and things going on, but there's nothing happening. It's all going on in your imagination. And that's going to, again, that will cause people to be triggered. How dare you say that? And there's lots of suffering going on in the world. And there's nothing but compassion here for that. But there's no one running the show. No one's to blame. No one can take credit for anything. And this is what I said on a previous video. I mean, I used to be trigger happy, I would get triggered quite easily, thinking that this could be another way, or it shouldn't be this way, or they shouldn't be doing that, or I could have done this differently, or this just flows by itself, effortlessly. It's not that, I mean, it's been seen clearly here now that it's not that there's no advice here. There's nothing on offer or teach. So that there's not that there's a you that can do anything. It's that there is no you. That's the core. The core sharing here is that the self is illusory. So then, why do the videos? And I don't know. There's no me making the video. This, again, it moves by itself. There's no one here making the video. There's no one watching the video. And again, that can sound weird to somebody who's completely identified with that me character. So I imagine there's people watching this that have had a clear seeing, and there's seekers watching. And the passion here to want to share this message is because if it can be seen clearly, it's liberation and total freedom. Always. And the liberation includes suffering, includes all the uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. Nothing's excluded. Because this is wild and free to be as it is, to do as it does. But ultimately, nothing's happening. This is completely still and silent, yet all the appearances and movements and sounds appear within it. The body appears within it. So this being or presence or consciousness that you might think you are is not housed inside the body. The body appears within it. So the body's not you. You could say that you are this. And it all happens in this. There's nothing out there. There's nothing inside, there's no outside. There's just this. I mean, I can only talk from experience here, but I know this sounds like a paradox, but when it was seen clearly here, although nothing changes because it was seen that there's never been a self, there does seem to be changes. Thoughts do become less, or maybe you just don't notice them as much or attach onto them. And the body relaxes more. There's less tension. Again, that's just, things that have been noticed here. I'm not saying that's a rule. Because a thought, now, thoughts you can really believe that they're your thoughts and that you've got to do something with them, or a thought arose about something that you did or somebody did to you. But if there's a clear scene of this, a thought is nothing. It just comes and goes. Then it's an appearance that comes and goes in this. Just like the body is just an appearance that comes and goes in this. When you go to sleep at night, where's the body? And then people are going to say, oh, it's still there, lay on the bed. But that is an imagination appearing in this. This is not solid. This is brand new. No one knows what this is. So the whole world, or countries, or people that you can imagine, they're not out there. They're just thoughts that arise within this. So you've never moved, you've never been anywhere. But you can still enjoy it, you can still enjoy the show. The show's going to carry on. But it just seems that the majority of selves just struggle. Even if, you're watching this and you think, well, and I'm quite comfortable and content, I've got everything. But then a thought will arise about dying or cancer, or you might have lots of material things and then you're worried about losing them material things, or a partner that you're worried about losing, or a partner that you really want, or you want something else. That me character is never satisfied with this. Now, that's why I say in the videos, the only real liberation, the only real truth is realizing that there's no self, that there's no imagined me character running the show. That's the only freedom. And from experience here, you know, I've suffered with that character for decades. And not anymore. And again, I've mentioned that thoughts and feelings can still arise, but they're not mine. They're not yours. So no one's doing anything. It's all just happening by itself, and that's the freedom. Once again, thanks for all the comments, emails, phone calls. It's much appreciated.